respected chairperson of the program, Sri Amir Shastriji, principal speaker and the author of the book that has been launched today here, and my friend Sri Anil Daveji, respected Dr. Sushilaji, distinguished audience, sisters and brothers. About Shivaji Maharaj, much has been told that can be told in a 1.5 hour, 2 hour seminar. And if you can write not one, another 100 more books on various aspects of Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj can be authored and published, and that they should be. And Sri Anil Daveji, who is the author of this wonderful book, which was first written in Hindi and translated into English. And you should know that this book was first released in London a year ago. And now it is being launched in a city like Hyderabad. I congratulate at the very outset both Sri Anil Daveji and the organizers of this function, Social Cause, for having authored such a very important, significant book, which is a document, and also for organizing such a program, such an event, so that the importance of governance and taking inspiration for the governance from Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj because of this launching of this book is possible, and that is why Social Cause, the organizers of this, should be congratulated. I said that this is a beautiful document. It is a handbook. It is a manual. It is an inspiration. So this book can be described in many ways, and Raka Sudhakarji has wonderfully introduced the book in the beginning, and through his 5 to 7 slides, Sri Anil Daveji has summed up the whole thing. But please do not mistake that through these slides you have understood the book. Unless you read the book page by page, sentence by sentence, you will not be able to appreciate it. And on this occasion, I would like to suggest that this book also should be translated into Telugu. I think it is not yet translated. Because the wider readership for such a work is very, very essential. Years ago, when Swami Vivekananda was in Madras, in Chennai, one full moon night, he was just murmuring something, and the Swamiji's disciple Nagmasha was there, and he was feeling why Swamiji is eulogizing such a person who was a robber, who was an ordinary man. And Swamiji was reciting that Dava Dhrumadanda Parachitta Murgadanda Rishivaraj Hai. That is Bhushan Kavi's very well known lines in Shiv Bhavani. There are 52 things, Shiv Bhavani. And The poet Bhushan has written those. He has composed them. And Swamiji was, when he was reciting those things, those lines, Nagamaji said, oh, Swamiji, I don't understand why you are repeating these lines. It is after all about that such a person who is not such a great man. Swamiji just he started rebuking Nagamaji. He said, this is the product of the English education, the British education. And even today, such people are there in this society, unfortunately in our country, who consider that Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj, after all, he was an ordinary king, not even a king. He was a troublemaker in the Mughal Empire. And after all, what he has done, what great things that he has achieved. And that is why our history books will definitely eulogize Akbar in great details. And for Shivaji, they will dedicate a small paragraph.
Yes.
Shivaji has not been understood. Shivaji has not been read. Shivaji has not been evaluated properly in our academic circles. People who have taken special interest like Anil Dave or Mehendale or M.U.R. Shastri or many more people, even in the previous generation like Jagannath Sarkar and others, or Sardesai, they have studied. But unfortunately, our textbooks, our curriculum, they have not taken these very important aspects of Shivaji which has been explained by Sri Anil Dave, that these are the things that have to be taught. Because these things are not taught, the students of today or even the students yesterday, we have always considered that history is only the story of kings and wars and wives. And you remember the year or some numbers, and this is all about history. There is the very fact that how history should be taught. What is the lesson that we have to learn? This has not been taught. That is why Shivaji becomes one paragraph leader. What was Shivaji Vivekananda, what he said has been wonderfully told in this book in the very beginning itself. Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj, a hero for modern India, Swami Vivekananda says, is there a greater hero, a greater saint? Mark the words. Is there a greater hero, a greater saint, a greater bhakta and a greater king than Shivaji? This is what Swamiji says. Shivaji was the very embodiment of a born ruler of men as typified in our great epics. He was the real son of India, representing the true consciousness of the nation. It was he who showed what the future of India is going to be sooner or later. A group of independent units under one umbrella, as it were, under one supreme imperial suzerainty. Jagannath Sarkarji, who has been a great historian, he has in a way compared the mission of Shivaji and his establishing of Hindavi Swaraj to a banyan tree. He says Hinduism itself is a great banyan tree, and in spite of trying to finish it off, from beneath that tree springs out, even after centuries of political subjugation, the new leaves and branches they put forth, and it raises its head in the skies, And what Shivaji has done is to contribute to see that this tree called Hindutva or Hindavi Swaraj or Hindu Dharma, it rises again and again, even after many efforts by foreign invaders, the rulers who subjugated us have tried again and again to see that this tree is finished off. So Jananath Sarkar says that the greatest contribution of Shivaji is to see that this society gets that confidence that come what may, this is the Mrityunjay Rashtra. This is the Avinashi nation. Immortal. That immortality has been the message that has carried through, because Shivaji has played in a very historic time. At that juncture of our nation's history, he played and he contributed to see that this tree doesn't get finished off. So this is what Jadunath Sarkar has very clearly mentioned. Shivaji, what Shivaji was? Samarth Ramdas ji has wanted 23 qualities of Shivaji. This book has listed them. Samarth Ramdas has said, Atavave Shivaji Pratap, Atavave Shivaji Roop. In Marathi it is said, oh, remember how Shivaji spoke, and remember Shivaji's valor, Shivaji's personality. Then he says to Sambhaji also, that how Shivaji used to speak, to think, how he used to watch, how he used to order, how he used to write, how he used to walk. These are the things that you should understand to know how a leader should deport, how he should behave. So this is what Samarth Ramdas has explained, described about Shivaji. And the 23 qualities that Samarth Ramdas has attributed to Shivaji: Varadavanta, Bhagyavanta, Jayavanta, Satyavanta, Rupavanta, Gunavanta, Acharavanta, Sukritivanta, Kalavanta, Vidyavanta, Kriyavanta, Vicharavanta, Lakshanavanta, Kulavanta, Lakshmivanta, Kirtivanta, Yuktivanta, Samarthyavanta, Dhairyavanta, Buddhivanta, Shaktivanta, Yashavanta, Viryavanta. And such a person says, Swaraj hai Shri Chicha. The person who has been described by no less a person like Samarth Ramdas, they are all godly virtues and qualities. These are the epithets that you will find for Prabhu Srinam and Sri Krishna. And 400 years ago, such an avatar was there in this country, in this land. And such a person was also the embodiment of humility. Swaraj Shri Chicha. There is a imaginary conversation which has been authored by Sri Aurobindo. Conversation of the Dead, volume 3, page 483. Raja Jai Singh and Shivaji Maharaj, they converse with each other. It is an imaginary conversation. And what Sri Aurobindo says, Raja Jai Singh is a Rajput, and Shivaji Maharaj established Hindavi Swaraj. Raja Jai Singh worked for Mughals. But being a Rajput, he was very honest, he was committed. Whatever he took it up as his mission, he did it to the fullest possible, honesty only. His integrity was not questioned, though his word was misplaced. Raja Jai Singh, he says, I have been a Rajput, and this is an imaginary conversation between the two, and Sri Aurobindo has written this. The entire conversation is lengthy one. I am going to take only two dialogues, one by Raja Jai Singh and Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj's answer as imagined by Sri Aurobindo. Jai Singh says, I held the Dharma as supreme because I am a Rajput. I thought that I will work for this, and I did it. I held the dharma as supreme, and even the voice of God could not persuade me to abandon it. Mark here. Even the voice of God could not persuade me to abandon it. भगवान भी आया तो मैं छोड़ूंगा नहीं. Aurobindo writes, Shivaji's response. Shivaji says, I gave up all to him with capital H and did not keep even the dharma. धर्म भी मैं मेरे साथ नहीं रखा, वो भी उनको दिया. His will was my religion, for he was my captain and I his soldier. That was my loyalty, not to Aurangzeb, not to a code of morals, but to God who sent me here. And such a person only can say that is Sri Chicha. What is the humility of Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj? He issued currencies. And the smallest denomination currency was called Shivarai. He said that is Shivarai. Ek paisa, that was Shivarai. So he did not say that I am here to do everything. Which Anilji wonderfully brought it out, that because of his members of his team, Shivaji was there. And in this book, Janta Rajas, that wonderful conversation, although it is translated into English, it is there. And if you happen to listen to the original dialogue in that famous epic drama, Janta Raja, which has been the production of Babasaheb Purandare, the original, it is in Farsi, Marathi and Hindi, but Aurangzeb speaks in Farsi, that's in that language, but this is English here. And Aurangzeb, one after other, he remembers his soldiers, senapatis, his commanders, his warriors, his subordinates, and how they were defeated, how they were humiliated, how they were removed from the scene by Shivaji. He goes on explaining in one scene. There he says how Shivaji's followers were. And there Aurangzeb says, through the Aurangzeb's words, Babasaheb Purandare puts these words. Says, Shivaji has created men and I could not do it. This Shivaji has built strong forts. He has built an army and expanded his resources. He has created a wholly new strategy of warfare. These are the words of Aurangzeb, translated in English. The original, it is such a wonderful poetry. When you hear it, you will not stop standing up and visualizing Babasaheb Purandare and also the whole story. Because I experienced it when I watched the Janta Raja drama. There he says, this Shivaji has built strong forts. He has built an army and expanded his resources. He has created a wholly new strategy of warfare. But above all, he has created people of strong character who can never be conquered. We have tempted Shivaji's commanders with the offer of jagirs worth lakhs of rupees, but those intrepid Marathas have simply spat on our offers. हमने उनको जागीर के लालच दिया, लेकिन वो अनपढ़ मराठा जावड़ी लोगों ने उस पर थूक दिया. Till today we could buy anything and anyone, but Shivaji's self-respecting refused to sell themselves. They do not cease, do not stop, do not tire, and do not sell themselves. These are English words. Original में क्या है मालूम है? शिवाजी के वो लोग वो न थकते हैं, न रुकते हैं, न निभते हैं, न झुकते हैं. They do not cease. They do not stop. They do not tire. थकते नहीं. They do not sell. बिकते नहीं. Shivaji is cunning, treacherous, swift, proud, incorrigible, and a dangerous foe. But Prince, his character is milky white and spotless. His luster is like that of sun. Prince Shivaji respects and honors. Mark what Aurangzeb says. ये सब करने वाले आदमी, उसके चारित्र ये धवल चारित्र है. एक दाग नहीं उसके ऊपर. ठीक है, वो आगरा के महल से, आगरा से, कारागृह से, वो जैसे अनिल जी ने कहा, वो सब करके गए. Shivaji respects and honors the religion, mosque, women, religious practices and holy men of even his enemy. उनके दुश्मनों के रिलीजन को, उनके महिलाओं को, उनके पूजा पद्धति को वो हमेशा आदर किया, सम्मान किया. शिवाजी ने कभी भी उनके ऊपर हाथ नहीं उठाया. When it was said by Sudhakar ji here, Raka Sudhakar ji, that a king should be spiritual but not communal, that is what Shivaji was. No wonder his fame and glory touch the skies today like the tall minaret of mosque. There is no doubt that we are fortunate to have an enemy like Shivaji. वो कहते हैं, अरे भाई, दुश्मन भी होना है तो शिवाजी जैसे होना चाहिए. ये औरंगजेब कहता है. If you wish to rule long, follow Shiva's footsteps. But whatever be, he is after all our enemy and we have to wipe him out. Friends, I told that Shivaji's humility and Shivaji's acceptance of Sri Chicha. And third great quality of Shivaji was that he was a leader to lead from the front. He was planning and he was executing with his commanders as a teamwork, but he was always there. अफजल खान को मारना था तो वो और किसी को नहीं भेजा, स्वयं गया. सूरत पर हमला करना था तो वहां गए, स्वयं गए. शिवाजी हर मौके पर, हर कदम पर जहां रहना था वो स्वयं गए. When it is to take risk, a leader would take risk. When it is to receive bullet, the commander, the general will stand in front of the army. This is what Shivaji demonstrated in his life. It is a life and dedication to the cause extraordinary. तो शिवाजी के विषयों में आपने बहुत अभी तक सुना है. एक स्ट्रेटेजिस्ट भारत में, whether the strategic thinking was there or not. At least three great men of our history, one Lord Sri Krishna and another Chanakya and the third Chhatrapati Shivaji, they had the greatest strategic thinking. Otherwise, being in Magad Empire, thinking about the Taxila and beyond, Chanakya could do this. Sri Krishna has done it for the Mahabharata war. And Chhatrapati Shivaji did it 400 years ago. Lachit Barphukan did it later. That's why General S.K. Sinha, who became the governor later on of Assam, who got a film produced on Lachit Barphukan by the National Defense Academy in Pune, because the Sarayaghat battle of Lachit Barphukan was one of the greatest military achievements that every military school should teach to their students. Now, having discussed Shivaji, about various aspects of Shivaji's life, I am tempted to share one or two anecdotes of Shivaji's life, though I think time is up. I should stop at the earliest. How ordinary people were created. Whether the historic evidence is not, I don't know. Anil Daveji and people like authors like him would testimony. But there is a story that goes on in Maharashtra and other places. In many books of Shivaji you find. When Shivaji met Qutub Shah just in order to ridicule him, he said, तुम्हारे पास कितने हाथी है, सेना कितनी बड़ी है, how big your army is, do you have elephants? Then Shivaji said, yes, we have elephants. And people knew that Shivaji was not owning even a single elephant. Qutub Shah, आपके पास elephant है, हाथी है, do you have? Yes. Where are they? His followers, those intrepid people, Mauli people, his ordinary followers, they were there behind him. He said, मेरे पीछे हैं. Qutub Shah just laughed at him. He said, can your elephants fight with our elephants? Arrange tomorrow. The next day morning, the elephant was brought to the battleground, the open field in front of the Mahal. And Shivaji that morning asked the SOG Kanka, get ready, you have to fight with an elephant. And SOG Kanka goes there and he throws his cloth that he is covering his upper body, and he takes out a sword. The elephant rushes towards him. And SOG Kanka, the story goes that he cut with his sword the trunk of the elephant. And the elephant fell down. And such elephants Shivaji had. And on this, there are popular songs and stories, particularly in Marathi, in Maharashtra, and such hundreds of stories are there about Shivaji. All these things cannot be historically proved. But a king, but a leader, he becomes the part and parcel of the legends, part and parcel of the psychology of the people, of a society, only when there must have been some real stories of this kind, maybe half a dozen stories, but people might have woven much more stories, it gets into another 2 dozens. But there must be some such incidents. You cannot provide historic evidence to all these things. May not be there also. But what I want to say is, why ordinary people have created such stories, legends and poems, composed poems on Shivaji Maharaj? Because people got inspired even after so many years, 150 years as Anil said. And because of such SOG Kanka, because of Tanaji or also there are some people, even after 20 years of Shivaji's death, people, they were fighting with the Mughals with their ordinary weapons from their homes. They could do this. So that is what he created. Such people he created. There is a letter by the governor of Goa in those days, when the Portuguese was ruling. In Lisbon archives, there is a letter written by Goa governor. The letter says this: a person who was employed in the governor's office or in the home, he asked governor, why Shivaji is doing all these things? That employee's relative was Raoji Somnath Patki, who was a Samant of Shivaji, who was looking after one fort. And being a relative, when he goes there, he asks our governor, why Shivaji is doing all these things? He must be happy. He is already having enough. Why he is not stopping his expansion? What is his ultimate purpose? What he wants to achieve? Then this Raoji Somnath Patki, he goes to Shivaji after a few days and he says, Maharaj, आपके पास ये जो जागीरदारी है, this is much bigger than what you had as a Pune जागीरदारी, and you have already you are the master of so many forts, you have won so many things. Why you are not stopped? Why you can't enjoy life now? Why you are expanding further? Why you are working overtime? What is your ultimate purpose? Then Shivaji says, I am not here to build an empire or to sit on throne for myself. Mission of my life is to see that from the land of Sindhu up to the bank of Kaveri river in south, I want to remove every such cases where the foreigners have invaded our land and destroyed our centers of pilgrimage and temples. And they are ruling this Videshi Raj, Videshi log jo hai, to remove the last person from this earth, from this Bharat Varsha. This is my life, and to establish peace and harmony in this country. That is the purpose of my life. This is what Shivaji says. It is not one Maratha empire that he wanted to establish or to sit on throne. It is very clearly said. Last time when I was in Hyderabad for another program a few months ago, that was Jyeshta Shuddha Trayodashi, I very well remember, that was
cultural nationalism.
Yeah, that program, I mentioned this, that Shivaji has never claimed himself to a Maratha king. It is only the British and other historians have said he is a Maratha king. Shivaji always said that he is Hindu Swaraj, Hindu Padmashah. He never said it is Maratha king. So here in this conversation with Somnath Patki, when Shivaji told this, Somnath Patki told this to his relative, and that relative, who was an employee in Goa governor, there he narrates it to Goa's governor, and Goa's governor has written the letter to his masters in Portuguese, which is there in Lisbon archives. This shows the mission of Shivaji's life. And about Suraj and about governance, many things have been told. I would not like to take, only one thing I would like to mention here. That is, why our universities, Institute of Management, Studies, etc., do not include these things in their curriculum. What this book has said, as Sudhakar mentioned, and every aspect Baba Saheb Purandare has also, in his thing, he has mentioned, even a cursory look at the very contents of this book will definitely show you what it is. Ministry of Finance, Ministry of Home, Ministry of Agriculture, Law and Justice, Foreign Affairs, Commerce and Industry, Science and Technology, Roads and Maritime Affairs, Labor and Employment, Language and Culture, Ministry of Defense, Public Relations, and standouts of Swaraj as forests and environment, women's empowerment, minorities, stance against corruption, self-inspired polity and rule. If these things can be filled into one such small book, there can be volumes on these things if we research about Shivaji's life. But our institutes of management, but our institutes of strategic studies, but our institutes of defense studies, rarely they mention a Shivaji or a Lachit Barphukan. Because we want to learn from the West only. We do not want to take a cue from the lessons of our own history, people who have become the legends, who have become all-time immortal inspirations, not only for India, but for the whole world. Having said this, I would like to conclude with one wonderful quotation by H.S. Sardesai in his book, Shivaji the Great Maratha. Shivaji was a titanic creator in the realm of politics and nation building. He had the vision of Mazzini, the dash of Garibaldi, the diplomacy of Cavour, and the patriotism, perseverance, and intrepidity of William of Orange. He did for Maharashtra severance what Frederick the Great achieved for Germany or Alexander the Great for Macedonia. In India, later Ranjit Singh, the Lion of the Punjab, affords a striking parallel. Still, in several respects, Shivaji stands alone and unique. Friends, I would like to make a small correction in this. When you want to compare, we are telling that here the vision of Mazzini, the dash of Garibaldi, the diplomacy of Cavour. I would like to say Mazzini had the vision of Shivaji, Garibaldi had the dash of Shivaji, and Cavour had the diplomacy of Shivaji. Shivaji had all these qualities in one human being, and those people had one great qualities, and we are comparing a person who is having multi qualities in one individual person. So definitely we should compare with the great personalities of the world, but at some time we shall not look upon our own historic personalities of this land who are immortal, who are the inspirers for the entire humanity, not because that he established a kingdom or he sat on a throne, but because he has set an example for great governance, for the great leadership, and also a great human being, a spiritual leader, a political astute administrator, and a great warrior of all time. And such a person was living in flesh and blood 400 years ago, who has become a legend today, should be studied, evaluated, understood, and also we should take inspiration from such a personality. I think today's education needs to dwell upon such thing and to include Shivaji and his ilk into our curriculum, so that the present day generation will be able to get a better model for governance, a better inspiration for a wonderful, fulfilled life. This is all I would like to say. Once again, I congratulate the organizers and my friend, the author, Sri Anil Dave, for this wonderful book and the wonderful program. Namaskar.